first thing we need to do is we really need to look at how do we schedule an event. Okay, what does it look like for scheduling purposes? Okay, so here's some of my little keys for you. Day and time do matter. Okay, for a intro class, well, actually for any event in general, I have found from my years of experience that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night work great, and Saturday mornings. Okay, sometimes Saturday mornings, okay? Those are kind of iffy. But Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I feel are the best days to have events. Okay? Now, the reason is David Ellis just told me, don't do it on a Friday night. That's when I'm trying to watch football.
In Texas.
In Texas, okay? In Texas. He lives in Texas. Okay, we've all seen Friday Night Lights, or you kind of know what it is. I've never actually seen the show. But in Texas, football is a big thing. So if you schedule an event on Friday night, it's probably not going to happen, okay? Last week, Iowa State was playing. Go Cyclones, not Hawkeyes, please. They were playing. If I would have scheduled an event on Saturday afternoon, nobody would have attended the event, okay? It's just a thing, right? So be aware of that. So make sure that day and time works for you. Again, I say schedule it. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are really good nights. Okay, consistency is key. Okay? And consistency doesn't mean just the day, but it also means the time for you. Okay? So if I'm hosting a weekly or an introductory class at my home every week, it's going to get really confusing to myself, my family's routine, and to my guest if I'm going, oh, this week it's on Tuesday, and next week it's on Thursday, and I think we're going to try Friday morning next week. Okay? It goes all over the place. And what I have found is if you're consistent, more people will show up. Maybe not the first week, maybe not the second week, but consistency is key. Okay? And maybe it's not a weekly intro class. Maybe it's a monthly intro class. The second Tuesday of every month, you host a public intro class in your area. Okay? Or maybe it's a business training. Like in my area, we know that the second Saturday of every single month from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock, we have business training. Okay? The consistency also not only works for your team, it works for your family. So I know for myself, if I do an evening class, it always starts at 6:30. It helps me get in the rhythm. It helps like my family. And I'm telling you, like my kids know that mommy has to go and teach oils. Okay? So for our family routine, if they know I have to teach oils that night and I leave at 5 o'clock, they know. It's just part of our routine. And for a while, when I was really out doing a lot of classes, I always had it that every Tuesday and Thursday night were my class nights, no matter what. Okay, so then it was an easier schedule. So that consistency is really important. Make sure it works for you and you're a guest, but at the same time, don't try to accommodate every single person. Because if you try to accommodate every single person, you will go crazy. Okay? So get that consistency. So that's what the day and time matter. Okay? Then when we're scheduling for success, we need to make sure we have a venue. We've got the day and time scheduled, but now we need to make sure we have a venue. Is it quiet? Okay? So I will tell you right now, if you're trying to do it in your home and you've got 10 kids running all over the place and your husband's got his golf friends over playing poker at the table, is that quiet? No. Is it conducive? No. If you're looking at space, like a lot of people like to have events in public locations, all right? I suggest not all of your events, but maybe you want some of them in a public location. Is it a quiet restaurant? If you get to the restaurant, is it a quiet space that's not around all the noise of the food prep and things like that? Okay, and all these tips I'm telling you from experience. We went to one place and we had a private room, so we thought we were good. And then we got there, we realized the private room was right next to the kitchen. I was screaming, nobody could hear me. Do you think people felt great in that space? We had like 25 or 30 people there. It was a Diamond Club event, and I think 2 people enrolled. okay? So that a venue is really, really important, okay? I actually prefer to have nothing to do with restaurants. And the reason is this. People come and they want to eat, and so then there's the clattering and clanging of the waitress coming in and out and everything. The oils and the food smells sometimes get a little like, oh, out there. A lot of times you're really disruptive to the other patrons of the restaurant. And so if it's a one-on-one, no problem. But if I'm doing like a larger class, or if I'm trying to host a business training, I'm not a huge fan of restaurants, and I'm going to let you guys know that right now, and that's why. Because a lot of people, the first thing they think is, oh, I'm going to find a restaurant to have a class at, and it doesn't always work. Is there a space fee? Okay, is there a space? Like a lot of places are going to charge you to rent a room if you're looking at a bigger venue. Like there was a charge for this space. We didn't just get to come to the Radisson for free. Okay? A lot of times when I'm doing monthly business trainings, there is a fee associated with that. So make sure you ask if there's a fee, and then make sure if there's any hidden stuff with it. So if you're doing intro classes, I suggest around your kitchen table. Do it at your house. Everybody feels comfortable, okay? Do they have the equipment you need? So if you're doing a larger event, okay, now this is more to that larger event, but you guys are going into that leadership hat, so you gotta make sure you know these things too. Do they have the equipment you need? Do you need a sound system? Okay, if it's 25 to 50 people, you're probably fine with just your own voice, or you can just invest in one of those little portable ones for 50 bucks, okay? Do they have a projector? Do they have a screen? Okay, these are all things that you need to think about. And if they do, is there an additional charge? I will tell you guys right now, most venues charge at least $100 for the screen and $150 for the projector for an event. Okay? Here's my little nugget. You can actually buy a projector for $300, and you can buy a portable screen for $100. Okay, you can do the math. If you're doing a monthly business training, invest in your own equipment, and then you have no doubt that it's going to work when you get there. Okay? And so that's something I've done for my team in the different pockets of areas. We have a projector and we have a screen, because it would be silly to pay that fee every single month when basically it's paid in 2 months. Okay? How long can you be there? So make sure you communicate that with the space. Like maybe my event is from 9 to 11, but I should at least allow an hour to an hour and a half ahead of the event and an hour to an hour and a half after the event for setup and tear down. Okay, so look at these little things. Is there parking for guests? Okay, or do the guests have to pay for parking? I try to find these different venues, and there's lots of options out there, you guys. Okay, you're gonna know your community. These are just some guidelines for you. And are there nearby food options? So if you're doing a big event like this, is there nearby food options? I've done events before where there's no food anywhere nearby. So what happens when it's lunch? Oh, we're hungry. Okay, so these are just some little tips for you, because you have to know where you're going to have it. So this is why I suggest, if you guys are in that enroll and train hat, guess what you do? You use your house. You use a church basement. You use a friend's house. You use a community center. A lot of people, if you live in apartments, they usually have like a little room in the apartment complex that you can rent out, okay? Use this, because when you get into this, you gotta know what it's coming. But if there's only gonna be 2 or 3 people there, it's easier just to stay at home, right? And your wow effect for them is gonna be bigger in the space of your home. Okay, so my blue tip, if at all possible, check out the venue before you go there, okay? And this, you can't really see this very good, but this was the only picture I had of this most awful experience that we made better, okay? I was doing a post-convention tour, okay? So I wasn't just representing my team, I was representing the entire company. And I get to it, and I thought we had a really great venue, and it was part of this really, really loud bar and restaurant. And so there was a divider. I had been told that there was a divider, but the divider was a little tiny partial wall. And it was a concrete room with tin, like you guys can see. It wasn't even finished ceilings. Do you know how loud that room was? I was shouting the entire time, and they still couldn't hear me. And it was a 2-hour event. We made it through. I connected with people afterwards. But that environment, I'm sure, left people leaving not full of joy, not full of excitement about doTERRA, but more like, what in the heck was that? How many of you guys have ever gone to an event like that? All right, we want to make it good, okay? All right, so now we know we're scheduled, right? We've got our venue. We've got it on the books. We're being consistent. And now it's time to promote. So when I first started doTERRA, when I was getting all those little no-show classes, I realized that I was doing the first step. I was scheduling for success, but that's all I was doing. I wasn't continuing on the promotion of the event. So let's look at a timeline for promoting. A large event like this, do you guys remember when Rod started promoting for this? It was like 6 months ago, maybe longer. It was right when doTERRA was coming out with their tickets, okay? So if you're doing a large event, you want to give people as much notice as possible. Because like for this event, many of you had to come to convention early. You had to arrange your flights differently, your hotels differently. So the more advance notice for a large event like this that you can have, the better, okay? Quarterly and monthly business trainings. Maybe you're doing monthly business trainings in your area. Maybe you're doing quarterly business trainings. I like to say as soon as one completes, you're promoting for the next one, okay? But if you're doing a monthly event, you know everybody has that on their calendar anyway, but you're opening up ticket sales and things like that about right as soon as it's done, okay? And for classes, 2 weeks to 10 days is good. You want to make sure that you're allowing time. I haven't seen much success with people that say, hey, it's Friday and I want to have a class on Tuesday. Okay, I'm just going to pull some people together. Okay, it just feels like it's not enough time. So we want to make sure that you're doing that timely. Now, how are we going to actually promote? Okay, how are we going to promote? If you're doing large events, say you're doing that monthly business training, or you're doing a quarterly event where you've actually rented a space and you're trying to really capture your audience, I like to use Eventbrite, and I actually have a website where I actually built the service into my website just because I was doing so many events, it just made it easier. But to just get started, I would say Eventbrite is a really great one to use. And the reasons I like to use Eventbrite is, okay, let's back it up a second. Let's talk a little bit about when you're using a space that you're paying a fee for, it's okay to pass that fee along to people, okay? So remember the little quadrants? We don't want to enable people. We don't care if everybody likes us, right? Because we want freedom. I want you to think about this. Even if I'm only spending, like, say, $150 a month for a venue, if I'm doing that multiple times a year, that can be almost $2,000 in fees that I'm absorbing. So it's okay to charge a minimal fee to your teams to come to the events. When you come to the events, okay, there's a couple reasons for that too, is people value more what they pay for, okay? You will get a clearer understanding of how many people you have coming to the event if there's a fee. Your fee does not have to be very much. It could be $5, right? It doesn't have to be very much. But if you pay $5, you're more likely to actually go to that event than if you paid $0, okay? And usually, when you're doing something, there's handouts involved too, okay? So that's okay, and that's one of the reasons I like Eventbrite is because you can track that, okay? You can track that fee that people are paying to come to your event and get a little bit more, okay? The other thing I like about Eventbrite is I'm really big on sending a reminder out about the event. And Eventbrite, you can do it all through their system. You don't have to go into your email and type all the email addresses in for everybody that's registered. You just go email registrants. Type, send. Very simple. Okay? Facebook is a way to invite. Oh wait, no it's not. It's a way to announce that you're having a class, to build awareness that you're having a class, but it is in no way, shape, or form a way to invite. Do you guys understand this? Okay. That's one of the biggest things I was doing when I first started is I was creating a Facebook event and I was inviting all my friends. How many people are unfriending you because you're inviting every single friend to your essential oil classes? Probably lots. And if you do create a Facebook event, get permission to invite them to the event. Just like if you're creating a Facebook group, that's a whole nother conversation. Okay, I should have done that one. Okay, but Facebook is, the point is, Facebook is not a way to invite. It's a way to announce that you have it going on. You might be able to slip the little Eventbrite link into the Facebook. There's reminders on there. But if you want actual results and you want people at your events, you are inviting them in person and you're picking up the phone. Okay? Those are the two ways. Maybe a text. But those are the way you're inviting, and you're inviting them personally. Hey, I've got this event that I'm going to have. And if that scares the bejesus out of you to do that, put your spearmint and wild orange and lavender right here on your throat, and then pick up the phone and call them. I've also found that the spearmint, wild orange, and lavender helps with when I need to write, communicate in writing as well. So it's not just verbally, it's in writing. Like if I need to write, okay? So another way to promote is, and again, this is an announcement type of way, is through email or newsletters or MailChimp. I like MailChimp again because it's easy to send to keep the registration list from before. All right. Okay. My blue diamond tip for promoting is know your customer. Know how they like to be invited. Okay? Not everybody is going to respond to an email. Not everybody's going to respond to Facebook. I have some people, I know my customers. Seth nailed it. Don't forget the relationship. Makes the money look stupid. I wrote that down because I loved it so much. It's the same thing with inviting. You have to know your customer. You have to have a relationship with them. I have people that are never on Facebook. So if I only put everything on Facebook, they would never come to my events. But I have other people that they never open their email. So if I was only emailing out the invitation, they would never show up. So I get to know my customers, and usually if I'm creating a large event for my team, I am creating a Facebook event, I'm putting it on our website, I'm posting it into our groups, I'm sending it out in an email, and then my leaders and I are calling, texting, and making contact with people to get people to the event. It's not just one form, it's all of them, so that we can make sure that we're encompassing everybody. Okay? So make sure you know your customer and the preferred method that they have. Also know, if you're making phone calls, do they have a job that they can't answer at 2 o'clock in the morning? Or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, not in the morning. You better not be answering your phone at 2 o'clock in the morning. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, if they have a job at 2 o'clock, don't try to call them at 2 o'clock. Call them at 7 o'clock when they're home. Again, this is like just knowing your customer. And this is something you have to know for every aspect of the business, not just events.